6,000 square feet, and not a single wall inside is holding it up. The entire weight of this home hangs on the same trick farmers have used for barns for a century, and these two builders are betting they can turn it into a luxury house that beats traditional construction. But the build won't go in a straight line. Freezing Midwestern storms, windows that don't show up, and owners who change the floor plan halfway through. Because here's the thing about this method. Staying standing is the easy part. At the end, professionals will hook a machine to this house and measure exactly how much air leaks through it. Everything you're about to watch is being built toward that one brutal test. It starts with steel brackets anchored into the concrete, because wood, sitting directly on concrete, slowly drinks moisture until it rots from the base up. The brackets keep every post lifted and dry for the life of the building. But concrete foundation walls are never perfectly flat, and in a house where a handful of posts carry everything, close enough doesn't exist. So Kyle laser measures every single bracket and records the height differences so each wooden post can be cut to match its exact spot. Get this wrong by a few millimeters now, and the whole frame inherits the error. Instead of framing the walls piece by piece in the air, the crew builds entire sections flat on the ground. Every connection square, every nail driven safely at waist height. The catch is obvious. Now they have to lift thousands of pounds of finished wall into place. That's what the track loader is for. Fitted with a truss boom, it becomes a crane. And it's the reason two men can do what normally takes a full crew. And this is where those laser measurements pay off. The columns drop into the steel brackets and sit plumb, exactly where they need to be. First try, no forcing, no shimming. The floor plan is mapped. The tall central structure becomes the main living space. The lower additions become the garage. But with more than 3,000 square feet and 0 interior support posts, nothing inside is actually locked in. Remember that? Because the homeowner is going to use it. Next comes the roof. Thousands of pounds of prefabricated trusses lifted by a two-man crew in Midwestern wind. Before a single truss goes up, temporary bracing locks the freestanding columns in place, because columns with nothing between them will shift the moment that load lands. Then, a small trick that separates pros from everyone else. They lock the whole truss stack together with a temporary board and mark the purlin layout across every truss at once on the ground. The alternative is measuring each one 126 feet in the air, in the wind. Faster, safer, and every mark lines up perfectly. To pull the frame into its final alignment, they use heavy tension chains. Tighten here, loosen there, one adjustment at a time, until the structure sits exactly true. From here, building is only half of Kyle's job. The other half is suppliers, subcontractors, and a schedule he doesn't fully control, and his first setback is already on its way. Weatherproofing starts while the tension chains are still holding the walls against the wind. These panels look like nothing. No one will ever see them, but they're the first line of defense against water and air is the one that matters. At the end of this build, a machine is going to measure every leak in this house. This is where that test is won or lost. Every seam gets a specialized tape, pressed down with a squeegee until there's not a single air pocket left. Slow, unglamorous, invisible work, and exactly the kind that decides the final number. Winter is closing in, and the race is on to seal the structure before snow and freezing lock down the site. The window frames get set first, so the client can review and adjust their positions before any final cuts. And this is where post frame quietly flexes on traditional building. In a normal house, the roof load runs through the walls, so every window needs a structural header. Here, the posts carry everything, and the wall space between them is free. Windows can move without touching the structure. Then the message arrives. The window supplier is delayed. A traditional build would stall right here. Instead, Kyle seals the entire structure, window openings included, with panels, and will cut the openings back out when the windows finally show up. Not the ideal order, but the building stays warm, stable against the wind, and on schedule. The structure is sealed, but the hardest coordination of the build starts now, and the supply problems aren't done with Kyle yet. If you want to see whether this barndominium survives the winter, the delays, and that air test, subscribe. This is where it gets messy. With the shell closed, the specialists arrive. Heating, plumbing, radiant floors, sewer. Their first move is locating the septic exit. Then an excavator comes to trench the floor. Every pipe in this home gets buried under the slab, which means every pipe has to be perfect before the concrete seals it in forever. Kyle walks the layout. Outlets placed where the sofa and end tables will sit, another by the dining table, and a forest of pipes marking the future kitchen island. Gas, water, drains, and one very particular island vent. None of this is guesswork. It's the entire finished home, decided in dirt. Meanwhile, Kyle and Greg move to the roof. They hit supply problem again. The metal panels are coming out of production in batches, not all at once, so they install what they have and plan around what they don't. The panels themselves are smarter than they look. A traditional metal roof fails at its exposed screws. Sun, rain, and snow work every fastener loose over the years. These panels lock over each other and hide every screw underneath. Fewer points of failure, cleaner roofline, longer life. Then it happens. The last panel on site goes down and the roof simply stops short. The rest are still in a factory somewhere. Nothing to do but leave it open to the sky and keep the crews moving below. The plumber preps the floor and the concrete crew rolls in with heavy machinery. 3,000 square feet of main house plus another 1,500 of garage, poured in freezing conditions with the worst of winter still ahead. The cold is actively working against the material as it goes down. Once the slab cures, a specialist crew spray foams the walls and ceiling, and for this kind of house, that's not routine. Post frame creates huge open spans, and every bit of the home's final comfort depends on how well those spans are sealed. It's also 2 months since the first bracket went in. Framing, roofing, underground utilities, concrete, insulation. For a 2-man core crew juggling delayed suppliers, that pace says everything about Kyle's management. The rest of the metal roof still hasn't arrived, so instead of waiting, Kyle starts the layer everyone will see: stone panels along the lower walls. This is the moment the building stops reading as agricultural and starts reading as a high-end custom home. The main doors haven't arrived either, so Kyle buys cheap temporary doors off the shelf just to have a real reference point to finish the exterior around. Nothing about this build is waiting for anything. Inside, the house is nearly ready for interior framing. The second floor is planned: kids' bedrooms, a bathroom, a playroom. Then the client calls. They want to open up the space above the kitchen and add a mezzanine. New framing materials, new sequencing, slower progress, and this is exactly the moment the whole method proves itself. In a conventional house, that phone call means engineers, load calculations, and torn up plans. Here, there's nothing structural inside to fight with. The building was designed to change its mind. Then, finally, the missing roof panels arrive and the wall panels with them. Full enclosure is suddenly within reach. With perfect timing, the coldest weeks of the year are almost here. One tricky detail first. The raised wall section between the two roof lines has to be closed before the garage roof goes on, because working above grippy waterproof panels beats crawling across slick finished metal. Sequence matters even at the very end of a phase. With trusses, sheathing, and black steel in place, Kyle and Greg turn to the joints, the places that decide whether this roof performs as one system or fails as two. At the valley where the roof lines meet, exactly where water naturally collects, they install a custom metal channel shaped to throw it out and away from the building. The gable trim gets waterproofed against wind-driven rain, and a gutter crew forms the black gutters right on site. None of this is decoration. Every one of these edges is a place the weather will probe for the next 50 years. The missing windows are now openly shaping the schedule. The main walls can't be finished until the windows exist, because every panel and cut has to line up with them. So Kyle goes where there are no windows to wait for: the garage. Before its final panels go on, he installs a yellow drainage layer against the wood, insurance for the day water ever gets behind the siding. The wall panels themselves arrive pre-finished from the factory, color already applied. Installation is the last step. The house is about to be alive. The garage doors haven't arrived either. The delays are a full collection at this point, so the crew frames temporary covers and seals the openings with plastic. Crude, but it blocks the cold and turns the inside into a workable space just as the team finally moves indoors for good. The lower level is built around the busiest life of the house: great room, dining, and kitchen in one huge open space, plus the primary suite, a guest bathroom, and the mechanical room. Even the garage gets partitioned, a private workout room and a separate rec space. Kyle frames these walls the same way he framed the house, flat on the floor, laser leveled, because interior walls that start crooked cause problems for every trade that follows. And in the insulation, a quiet lesson in spending money where it matters. The building shell is already sealed and foamed, so these partition walls get simple fiberglass. Not every wall needs the expensive treatment. It needs the right treatment. The wall between the garage and the living space works harder than most. The two zones are heated separately, so it controls temperature between them and kills sound on top of it. Nearby, the crew deliberately frames a clean rectangular hole in the ceiling structure. That's the future staircase, and above it, the clients have ordered a full second life for this house. 4 bedrooms, a shared bathroom, and an open mezzanine with a balcony hanging over the main living space. It sounds small, a hole in a foundation wall. The building is insulated against a winter that never stopped pushing, and the interior is already deep in progress. Next up is the piece Kyle has been waiting for since day one, the porch. In a normal post-frame sequence, these would have gone in months ago, right after framing. The delay forced Kyle to invent his own order, seal everything, cut back later. And now that improvisation pays off, the covered openings get reopened and each unit drops into place. First though, Kyle claims his personal favorite part of the whole build. The porches. A big one wrapping around the house, about 10 feet deep, built for gatherings with lake views. And a smaller one on the side that becomes the main entrance. A snowstorm is forecast within days, so they build fast while the weather allows. And here's the detail that separates this from a bolted-on afterthought. The porch roof fasteners pass through the wall and anchor directly into the building's internal columns. Porch and house become one structural system, which matters because this roof has to carry its own weight, plus snow, wind, and decades of exposure.
We're hoping to finish up sheathing the porch. Two things happened. One, as you can see, it started snowing on us, which normally might not be a big deal, but it's causing some slippery conditions. And when you're up on a second story, you don't want to be in slippery conditions. But two, the other thing it did for us is it made the dirt around the porch too slippery. There ain't no way that our scissor lift, even being a rough terrain scissor lift, is going to get over here.
so the machine stays parked and thousands of pounds of material go up the old way, by ladder, one load at a time. Slower, but the snow has finally stopped, and stopping isn't on the menu, because the supply chain isn't done with them. Six months in, the main entry door is now delayed another month and a half. The answer is the same as always. Build the small porch around the planned opening and keep moving. With both porch roofs framed and covered, they seal the underside. And there's a trick worth watching here. A small V-notch cut into the metal profile lets the trim bend around a 90-degree corner with no exposed joint, no gap. A professional finish out of one careful cut. And this isn't cosmetic. Leave those rafters exposed and animals nest in them. Moisture reaches the lumber, and strong wind pushes up into the open cavities under the roof. Closed, the structure is protected, and the barndominium gets its finished architectural face. The logical next step is the porch roof panels. Instead, the schedule flips again. The drywall crew arrives this week, so Kyle and Greg move back inside. They build a temporary staircase. The real one comes later, when there's no risk of a subcontractor destroying it. And the drywall team makes their own smart call. Upstairs, panels go in through the second floor window openings, so the staircase only needs to move people, not sheets. Before anything closes up, 2 invisible upgrades: extra insulation between the floors to swallow footsteps and voices, and a reinforced separation between garage and living space. Temperature, air quality, and fire safety all demand it. One more job before drywall. The client wants a finished wood ceiling in the great room, so Kyle and Greg install the extra backing layer that wood will need. What they don't know yet, after months of back and forth, the client is about to switch that ceiling to galvanized metal, a material that needs no backing at all. Remember this moment. The drywall crew moves in, and the interior transforms at a pace nothing else in this build has matched. While subcontractors take over inside, Kyle and Greg stay on the exterior. 2 crews in parallel, every day pulling the house closer to the test at the end of this road. Outside, one last design problem. Huge flat surfaces could make this read as a massive industrial box. Kyle's answer is thick battens over every seam. Relief, shadow lines, personality. The difference between a warehouse and a home is sometimes an inch of wood. Inside, the house has changed completely. The second floor reads as real bedrooms and a mezzanine floating over the space below. The master suite and garage are fully defined. Now comes the heart of it, the kitchen. For custom work at this scale, Kyle doesn't just need suppliers. He needs people he trusts. Michael built Kyle's own personal kitchen back in 2004. Now he's checking off every custom piece as it comes off the truck. The stakes are visibility. This kitchen sits open to the great room inside of the dining area and even the mezzanine above. There is nowhere for a mistake to hide. The island is the proof of everything planned months ago. Drain lines, hot and cold water, electrical conduit, extra supply lines, all rising out of the slab in the exact positions marked in dirt before the concrete pour. Every single connection came up precisely where it was supposed to. That trench work you watched in month 2, this is what it bought. And the scale is absurd. 5 feet wide, 16 feet long, so big the countertop had to be fabricated in 2 slabs. The installers fill the joint with color-matched epoxy and pull the pieces together with vacuum clamps until the seam nearly vanishes. And now that wood gets its second life as the upstairs railing. This is the moment the build stops being a structure and becomes his house. Then the updated ceiling plans land. No more wood, metal. The backing layer they installed is now useless, but ripping it out would burn time and money for zero gain, so it stays buried in the ceiling forever. A quiet monument to mid-build changes. A second scissor lift joins the first, so both ends of every ceiling panel move at once. The kind of efficiency you only get when the right equipment is already on site. The garage gets sealed, other crews finish the bathrooms, and suddenly there's nothing left but details. It's easy to forget what this actually was. A massive custom barndominium from bare dirt, open spans, a double-height great room, a mezzanine, a wraparound porch built in the snow. They pulled 17 tall walls into alignment, absorbed months of window delays, and rode out client changes without ever losing the schedule. But professionalism isn't a feeling, it's a number, and the machine that produces that number just arrived. Kyle has never run a blower door test before. He's read the numbers, he trusts his buildings, but until the fan spins up, confidence is just a prediction. Randy is a builder and building educator, and his first move is a thermal sensor walk. Temperature differences betray hidden air leaks around doors, windows, and every small opening. Where he finds suspects, a thin stream of smoke settles the question. Where the smoke moves, air moves. a few minor leaks show up, including around one of the doors. Now the real test. An airtight panel seals into an exterior doorway. Then a powerful fan mounts inside it, and the house gets depressurized. Every remaining leak in the building forced to reveal itself at once. Kyle seals the garage door too. The test measures the conditioned living space, nothing else.
What would you expect this to hit based on, what you see and what you've done in the past?
I would expect you to be in that neighborhood of 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Dan, what number do you expect? 1.4. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Then I'll go 0.9.
0.9. All right.
What did we come up with, Randy?
You dropped your score a little bit more. You're down to 0.34. So this is estimating that all the leaks inside this house are going to cost you $63 a year.
$63 a year. That's the total estimated cost of every air leak in a 6,000 square foot home, with no exotic windows, no extreme door package, nothing crazy. As Kyle puts it, they didn't even really try. For a house this size, it's an exceptional result. And it isn't luck. It's every taped seam, every carefully set window, every hidden detail from the past year, performing as one system. The finished barndominium works as a true luxury residence, in how it looks and in how it performs. Post-frame construction isn't a barn trick anymore. In the right hands, it delivers the scale, efficiency, and comfort of a fully custom home without a single compromise in craftsmanship. And maybe that's the real result here. Kyle and Greg were handed a year of reasons to lower the standard. Frozen sites, vanishing suppliers, plans that changed under their feet, and never used a single one. From the first steel bracket to the final test, they built the home the client had been dreaming of. If you design your own barndominium, tell me in the comments what you'd put in all that open space, and subscribe to follow the next build from the first bracket to the final test.